We got the back cam over here. Okay. All right. I think now we have audio. This is crazy. All right. In case that wasn't captured at all, I probably should move this mic a little further down, huh? Maybe do a little gain here. Um, I was saying earlier that if I just don't do something that is creative, or yeah, I just forget it. Like I just forgot to stream. I just forgot to set up OBS. I feel like this is just too high of a gain here. And I had to watch some videos. I think the weird thing about OBS is that when I restart the program, it doesn't remember any of my camera inputs. I thought it was just a GoPro problem since I had to unplug the GoPro, but it seems like for the webcam as well, it suffers the same issue. And again, I don't know how the audio sounds, but the new addition today is, aside from the camera switching place, I also have a wireless mic here. I bought this a while ago. It's one of those really neat AirPods looking wireless mic. It's good for my camera and my videos, and it's good for on the fly recording. There is this um, receiver, and the thought process with this is that I can use it to film like podcasts or interviews on the fly without anything too fancy, and this is like small enough to keep it in my bag. Um, but anyways, this is a new setup. We'll see how it goes. I have a feeling my neighbor is going to start blowing leaves again, so you might hear that in a bit. Hopefully it doesn't happen. Um, I ran out of water, so I'm just drinking Coke today, at least for now. Okay, as the stream suggested, or the title, today is about figuring out what the heck is going on with my setup. Because in my last stream, I was able to play around with the KO2, obviously. And it was fun, but I realized a couple of things. One is that the speakers are just not great. It connects well to my controller, my DJ FLX4, but for the KO2, there's like a static sound, and also the sound, again, just not great. So I started looking into speakers or studio monitors that I can replace it with, and I settled on the Yamaha HS5. So this one for just my DJing stuff, for video editing, and then also for potentially music production in the future. It seems like this is a good studio monitor to get because of the sound quality, whereas the Pioneer speaker that I got before apparently are just like reskinned desk speakers, and the Kanto U4s are just, they're just kind of all right. And also the Bluetooth feature is not that strong anyways. I thought I would be able to connect it to my laptop, but I could only connect it to my phone. Anyways, I just wasn't satisfied, and so I bought these HS5s. They're sitting in the living room now. I'm going to try to bring it over. But the thing is, once I got these into my house and I unboxed one of them, I realized it's not like your regular desk speakers. Because if you look at desk speakers, I do not want to go to shopping. Um, you notice that they're smaller, but also two, they only require one speaker to be powered. So you only have to power one speaker, and there are the cables that daisy chain them so that you only just need one cable. Once the daisy chain is done, you can just connect it to your device and it'll play the song. I realized that on these Yamahas HS5s, there is no such thing. In fact, they have power source for both speakers, and there's no daisy chaining, which means you need to have separate wires to your device. And that's just too complicated. And that's when I realized I didn't do my homework, because it turns out you now need something called an audio interface for this to work. And that's when I realized that music production is just a trap. I've fallen deep into this rabbit hole and I just can't get out of it. But hopefully this all pays off, and we'll learn in the stream if this is good and if this is going to work in the first place. Okay, this is a very simple diagram that illustrates how everything works. So you have your main device, which is my MacBook here, and you'll need to connect to this thing called the audio interface, which is what I mentioned. And this is the hub for all your music-related devices, for them, all of them to work. So let's say in this case, my Yamaha HS5s will connect to the output jacks of these audio interface. And then if you have a mic, or if you have, let's say, XLR connectors, maybe for like a guitar, MIDI input, you connect it to the audio interface. And they use separate cables, they use all kinds of cables, and it's just so complicated. And I just did not see this coming, quite frankly. But today we will set it up. That's the main goal here. No making music. I thought this week we'll get to make some music, but it's okay. Let me just set this shit up, and then we'll see how it works. But also, I'm just trying to take this opportunity to clean up my desk, because if you look at this desk, there's just a bunch of crap that I have laying around. I was editing some videos for our art collective. Here's the other GoPro. And I just need to clean this desk up. But I just have not been able to do a proper job, because I know that I need to set up this studio monitor first. And the studio monitor takes precedence, and I need to see how much space it takes up before I can figure out where everything else goes. Because if you notice, I have a CalDigit dock here, and I also have an air purifier, which I don't think should be sitting on my table. I think I need like a separate cabinet to put in there. I also have a mic stand that I reinstalled. I took it out for a while ago, but for the last stream I had it on. And then I got miscellaneous, you know, like my laptop vertical stand here, and I just need to optimize this space. So that being said, let's bring it together. All right, so I'm gonna go over and get my stuff, and I'll be back, and you can watch my desk. You can't see me right now, but I'm in my living room trying to get the speaker out. And these are quite huge, honestly. They're bigger than the Kanto U4s. There you go. This is how big they are. And you can see, like I mentioned, there are all the inputs. So I'll be using this one to plug stuff in. So there's no left or right, but that's the tentative layout. So this is a whole process here. So power source for their own. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. It's a long cable too. So I have a track underneath that runs. We'll use that to power the speaker. But in the meantime, let me go bring the other speaker in. Okay. Here's another one. My nose is hella runny right now. It's crazy. All right. Let's tear this open. Also, shout out Illumina, dropping the company merch here. And I believe my laundry washer just went off. All right. Huge speakers. But they do look nice. They look pretty sleek. But that's not it, guys. I never just stop there. You know I never would. So let me bring in the other thing that I also bought. I also bought these real heavy monitor stands. Now, they're not made for these Yamaha studio monitors, but they are made for 6-inch speakers. And what do you know? It's a box within the box. Who's doing this? Why is it a box in a box? I don't understand. Okay. All right, so these are surprisingly from the previous sort of speakers that I have. And so ideally you should be able to mount this to the speakers that they make so that you can keep it secure. But I am just going to screw them in and then see how they go. Let's see. I feel like having this Coke can around is quite dangerous, but those are the stands. I assume this is where you slot in like this. Maybe the other way, who knows? Check it out. Some Allen screws. Okay, this should be the base of the thing. So this brings it up by a good amount. And I'm starting to wonder how this thing works. It was pitched to me that the cable could run through to the bottom. But I don't know about that one. Okay, so read this together. Or you screw into the base, and then you're routing the cable. All right. Let's take a look then. I'm all over the place right now. Where is the Allen key? Okay. Here's some extra. Okay. Actually, hold on. Is there instructions here? All right, so you route the cables through, but these cables are like pretty thick. So I probably should route them before I screw them in. Can I even go past? Probably should do that first. There's like a front for this. Oh, oops, it's the other way. It should be here. Okay. All right, this is a little bit of a challenge. Ooh. Okay. Okay. All right, that's good enough. Can shift this cable back and forth. And then what next? There's change to large top plate, optional. It's funny you mentioned that because I think we should switch to the big top plate. Ugh. There's so much junk in here. So this is the big top plate. And I think, yeah, I think we need this. Let's see here. So we need to unscrew this. Too big. Okay. A screw and a washer. Interesting color choice to have it as green. Okay. So I would want this plate to rotate about 45 degrees or not stay at 0 at least. Okay, so I can rotate this depending on, I don't know if you can see the angle here, but yeah, I can see those rotation. So I will put this somewhere. So the idea is I slip this through. Right, so I can start putting this down. Say I'm doing this straight, and I'll rotate maybe this much. I think that's fine. It's a pretty neat stand. Okay, still shifting from the play between the plates, but I think it'll be okay. All right, where's the manual again? Buried here. All right. So we swap the plates. We screw it down. So that's about a 15-degree difference. Actually, let me just look it up. Studio monitor angle. Let's see. I guess maybe it's like 30 degrees. I guess. Hey, if 30 degrees is 30 degrees, bro. But I think, yeah, you're right. It's probably a little more. Maybe I'm just underestimating direction here. Okay. We going in 30 degrees. Okay, what's next? So, right, ideally you would screw this down to a plate, but I don't have that. So, mount top plate. There's a screw. What's a long screw for? Oh, for the speaker. Okay, so this one allows me to screw in here. Nope. Screw in here so to secure, lock down. Am I even? Oh, okay. All right, that's the setup. Because now we just need to put the speaker on top of it while I have so many junk on my table. I don't know how am I gonna manage this, but we'll see. I'm gonna put this purifier on the floor. And then, let's see here. Move you out. Here. Power cord should be somewhere here. And then down. Then, ooh. Fits perfectly. Get to align this later, but before that, let me just adjust the cable length. Man, fuck this shit. What the heck? Okay, plug it in. But I want some strain relief here, so some space. Plug in. You're not that close. Wow, would you look at that? It's pretty sick. Bring forward a little bit. Jeez. Yo, can we just... Wow. That's pretty sick, you know? Okay. I might need to adjust the distance based on the cables because the XLR cable is very close to the wall, and so I might need to shift this forward. But this is looking mighty good, I must say. Yeah, but definitely the cables will be of concern. I think it should be okay. All right. Guys, before I commit any further, let me go bring out a bunch of other stuff that I got. Okay, it's Christmas. Today we got these audio cables. We got a splitter, 3.5 to TRS cables. And then this mystery box here, which I'll show you what it is. But let me remove some stuff here. This mystery box is kind of insane. So Aaron has been very kind in lending me his audio interface, but this came before he lent it to me. I figured it would be easier to just build with this in mind, since this is the one that I'm going to own. There you go. Welcome to the studio sound. The guy literally has the same setup with the speakers over there. So this is the audio interface. It's red in color, which I can't say I'm the biggest fan of. I think red is a very strong color, at least for the look that I'm trying to achieve. So might take some convincing for me to, start accepting this bright red color in the middle of my desk. Oops. But this is the interface. So this is the outputs for the speaker that we're putting it in, and then this USB will go to my my computer. But real quick, let me just bring the audio interface that Aaron lent it to me. Okay, so the audio interface that he lent to me is just beefier. It has 4 channels. Everything else is the same though. There's still the same audio jack. The gain knob is here, but yeah, 4 individual inputs. I think this is a little too much for my use. I think he really plays a lot of instruments. And then same thing here, MIDI in and out, and then output, like out to 4 outputs, studio monitors. So yeah, this is beefier for sure. I don't know if I will use this. I think this is my setup for this foreseeable future. It makes more sense to build on top of this. So my thinking was I'll get to stack the CalDigit on top of the audio interface, so I don't really lose any real estate. I just kind of have 2 things on one side. The only concern I have is that the CalDigit runs quite hot and quite warm. So I'm not sure if that's a wise move. In fact, let me just do a quick Google search. Putting CalDigit dock on audio interface. see if anyone. Okay. Okay. The other option I have is putting it on the other side or putting it in front. I'm putting it side by side. I haven't quite really figured it out yet, but I guess this is what this stream is for, trying to figure it out. I think this is good enough because I get my MIDI inputs here if I needed to, and then same with these. It is very nice though, very nice and sleek. This thing was $200, so quite pricey in my opinion, but if that is what it takes to run the tools. Oh wow, it's just, so this connects to directly to my dock. Like this has to be powered by my dock. There's no dedicated power adapter like the one that Aaron lent me. So thank God I have a dock, but I need to check how much space do I even have in my dock. Do I have another slot for a USB-A? That's TBD. I do, which is a good thing. And will it just power on like that? Oh, okay. Ooh, I see the lights. I see you, I see you. Okay, I still need a USB to my CalDigit here. But okay. There you go. All right. You know, the thing with all this is that the cable management has to be on point here. And I think that itself required a second stream. Okay. My plan is to set up one side first just to see how feasible it is before I commit to doing two sides and realize I'm an idiot. Why is this not a Ziploc bag? Okay, this is a Ziploc bag inside. And it's individually packaged. Okay, so these are what I'm talking about. The TRS cables. These are the special kinds of jacks. They're not aux. You can see here, these are thick cables, and they're quite long. This one looks kind of bent. Not sure why. So I wanted the braided version, but they didn't have the length that I wanted in, so I settled for a non-braided one. But okay, so far so good. And then I'm supposed to route the cables and then into my right. Huh. If I remove this, it doesn't know. Okay. That's interesting. I wonder if I have enough length to run the cable from that side to here, but I like to think it's possible. Okay. Not bad. Not bad. Not bad at all. I think the added challenge of this setup right now is the fact that I'm also streaming. I think it's kind of chaotic. Am I blocking? Yeah, I'm kind of blocking. Yeah, I think it's quite chaotic doing this while I'm streaming, but I'm committed. I'm very committed. Let's do this. I need the other box with the cable. I will be back. And I'm back. I needed this new cable. I hope this is the ultimate setup and I don't have to play around with this anymore. I would hate to have to dismantle everything and do it again. Because I've done this twice. The first time with the Pioneer, and then I had to dismantle that for the Kanto, and then now I'm dismantling it for the Yamahas, and I hope this is right. I need to put my drink somewhere else. Okay, I'm putting it on the floor. Let's see. I don't know where these things are coming from anymore. Okay. And then a big plate. So consolidate all of these. Put them nicely. Also, I realized there's a load of laundry in my washer waiting for me to put it in the dryer. So after setting this up, I will take a pause and then go deal with that. Okay, a couple of things. This is the base. So let me remove these. You know, every time I look at a product and I think to myself, some mechanical engineer had to have designed this. They had to consider the dimensions, the material that they use, the material that they use. Sorry, I just got confused a little bit. So it's hella warm right now. Material that they use and how they manufacture it. I think it's pretty cool. And I think the better the design is, the more people take it for granted. Because no one pays attention to good design. And that's okay. Alright, enough of this. Just try to... Oh my god. This thing's like slipping away. Okay, unscrew. What time is it? 3:47. I gotta hop all and talk to a friend in like 5. Hopefully before that I have this all set up. One thing I realized that I could not achieve today is that I don't have a USB-C cable going from the CalDigit dock to the audio interface. I might be able to dig up one, but I'll have to look. I also have to figure out where I put my laptop now. I think that's a more concerning question, because I usually like to keep my laptop closed, but maybe this is the new setup where I don't use an external keyboard. Here's a mini rant. This is the current keyboard that I'm using. It's a Newfie 75 Air, and I used to run brown keys, but then I went to linear keys, and for some reason it was fine. And then I think I updated the Mac OS to the latest version, Sequoia, whatever. There's some delays in typing. So when I type a key or when I type a word, in my brain, it will register as I'm typing in the right order, but it just won't execute that way. Let's say I'm typing YouTube, it will just end up looking like YOUTUEB when I clearly know I pressed B first and then E. I don't know, is this a combo of like red keys being more sensitive, or just the macOS lag? I've been thinking about switching to their new Newfie Kick 75, but maybe I will just not do that, because if it's indeed a macOS issue, I'm probably better off just using the native keyboard, which is not bad. The smart keyboard is pretty good, but I'm just not a linear key person, and this keyboard looks nice, but I've been using it for like, I don't know, 3 years now. So anyways, it's a random segue for you. I need to change this plate. Oh. Okay. Get rid of the old plate. Let's put the new one in. Okay, now let's do a 30-degree. Oops. Wrong direction. Okay. This. Oh. Fuck. My brain is not working today. It is the wrong direction. I was right the first time. Somehow doubted myself. Okay. Now it's legit. There we go. Then I need the short screw that came with it. Screw that in. Okay. Okay. How thirsty. All right. So now I just need to put this to the back. Balls down. And then put this thing on. Plug this thing in. Okay. I think it's definitely more rotated than the other one. I also feel like this, maybe it's just the table being uneven, but this thing feels like it's falling down more. Or maybe I'm just tripping. Excuse me. It feels like this is like tilting downwards. Because the table is just not flat to begin with, and this is also pretty heavy. But okay, I just have a little bit of OCD, so I need things to be symmetrical, or else I will not allow it. So I have a ruler. I want to make sure that the distance from the edge of the table is matched up. So maybe just a ruler length is good. So 15 inches. Okay, I like that. For you, I need to take down a speaker first. Seems like it's not rotated enough. Give me 1 second. Boxes, boxes, boxes. Where are these boxes coming from? More boxes. Okay, first let me unplug the TRS cable and the power cable. And move you down. And then where's this too? I just realized the danger of measuring a ruler aside is that maybe this monitor is not even centered to begin with. So I don't know if I can trust that rule. Maybe it is applicable. Let's see. This is a ruler part. That goes the power cable and the XLR cable. Okay. Ta-da! Okay, so these are supposed to be symmetrical, but I think right now this is like 6 millimeters. It's about the same. Just depends how. Yeah. Okay. I think good enough should be the motto here. I think I will stack these. Just cause. Yeah, there's no reason for me to not create that space. So now I still have real estate here. I can still put stuff. What was that? Okay. What's next here? I need to plug in the cables. Right, hold on. Let me take a breather and try to explain to you my vision for this space. Okay, so oh, that's right. So the reason why I want my laptop to be in clamshell mode is because I need to have the FLX4 in the middle. And so if I have this here, I don't really have space to play with the decks. That's why I need the laptop to be on the other side. And then when I need to, I have the keyboard in the middle. And it does feel more clean that way also. I'm thinking I'll have my laptop all the way there. So whatever stand I have here will be there. So it's just tucked away, hidden on the side. And if I need to use my work laptop, we'll also be able to do that. I just need a cable that's long enough. So I need a longer USB-C cable to first transmit that data. So something like this length would be great. And then the other thing I want to have is a pegboard, one of those that you can get from IKEA, so that I can put a bunch of these random shit on this wall so I don't have to keep taking them apart. So things like a hard disk. I know I'll need this, but I just don't need to plug it in all the time. Things like my SSD, I'll put it over there. Things like pens and all of that. Just weird to have something on a table. And then also, if possible, I'd like to have these devices also on the wall so that I can easily take it out and play with it. I think when these things are stored away and not placed in plain sight, the resistance just builds up. It's hard for me to go dig in and take out the FLX4. Like for example, the FLX4 is like packed in the like my luggage underneath my bed. So every time I want to play, I need to take it out. I think the goal is just to make it be there, and I need to play it, I'll just take it out and I'll play it. There's no big deal. And then storing is just as easy as putting it back in. So that's the vision here. What else? Things like these, you know, like, I don't know, putting it here would be pretty nice. So I'll try to put the pegboard there. And the other thing is I can 3D print parts to fit these things. So example, I can 3D print an adapter that can hold this in place securely. And yeah, just make it really portable for me to use stuff like that. Or even like a keyboard, you know, if I don't want to use this keyboard anymore, I'll hang the keyboard here. I'm having high hopes for this pegboard. Maybe I'll just have here, and I'll also have one on this wall that you can't see over there, but that is the dream. I will say, having these stands elevating the studio monitors help make the desk look very clean. The previous Kanto U4s that were sitting on a base and tilted at an angle felt like there's just so much clutter on the table and I don't have space. Whereas now I get to reclaim some of that space, at least visually, just feel like there's more room to work with, which I'm very happy with. But I don't think I'm gonna try this today. So yeah, there's only a limited of stuff that I can try now. But perhaps I'll do the things that I can and at least get some just some audio going on. So I can't see what's going on in the background, but maybe I can pull my phone out. Okay. So I need this cable to be long enough to come here. Let's see if that is possible. Seems like it is. And it seems like I just need to make sure. Let's see, shit. Okay. 2 cables running. Wow. Hella clean. Okay. So these cables, I realize, can actually go into the same channel as they did. Instead of dangling off like this. So instead of, it's joining the channel in there. Maybe that's worth working on. Do I have the space? I think I do. Okay. Let's see here. I think I'm gonna end the stream here because a lot of the stuff that I'm about to do is just nitpicky organizational work, and I don't think it's adding a lot of value to this diary. Sorry, I don't know what said diary. So I'm gonna try to organize the cables here. I'm trying to make sure that the cables are all hooked up at the end. Try to just like do some cable management work and make sure that it's just not super annoying and eyesore to look at on top of the table and then on the underneath the table also. And then maybe add a couple of things to the shopping list. Maybe an extended USB C cable to run from this dock to here, which is where I want my monitors to be. And I think we should be okay. Yeah, and then next week, sometime next week, I'll try to get a pegboard. I'll try to nail it up here. And I think that's it. I'll do another stream just to give an update, and then once I have this all configured, my next stream, I'll want to play with the KO2. I have some ideas of what I want to do with it. I want to make some music. I want to make some beats, and I think it'll be fun. But for now, I think that's as far as we will get today for the stream. So thank you for tuning in. I hope this all goes well, and yeah, every day you live and you learn. But I'm happy with the setup actually. I'm actually quite happy with how it looks. It looks way cleaner than the Kanto U4, so I think it's a good idea that I moved to the setup instead of keeping the old one. But all right, that's all I have.